Trudeau's resignation. More temporary foreign workers face uncertain futures. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Today, we're diving into how Justin Trudeau's resignation is shaking up Canada's immigration system, particularly for temporary foreign workers, TFWs. These workers are critical to industries such as agriculture, hospitality, and construction, but recent policy changes and growing public pressure could drastically affect their futures. Stay tuned as we explore what these developments mean for Canada's economy, TFWs, and the policies that may reshape their opportunities. If you care about immigration updates and their real-world impacts, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's get started. The backbone of critical industries. Canada's immigration system has long supported sectors struggling with labor shortages, and temporary foreign workers have been at the center of this strategy. Industries such as agriculture, food processing, caregiving, and hospitality depend heavily on foreign workers to fill roles that domestic labor cannot meet. For instance, thousands of workers arrive each year to harvest crops, ensuring Canada's food supply remains stable. However, despite their vital role, TFWs face precarious conditions. Many are tied to a single employer through the labor market impact assessment process, leaving them vulnerable if their employment is terminated. The dependency created by this system often limits their ability to seek better opportunities or report exploitation. Trudeau's administration introduced reforms to improve conditions for TFWs, but these measures have not eradicated challenges like wage theft, unsafe work environments, and inadequate housing. With Trudeau's resignation, the future of these reforms is unclear, leaving TFWs in a fragile position. Public pressure and calls for restriction. Public dissatisfaction with Canada's immigration system has grown, driven by issues like housing shortages, strained public services, and rising costs of living. Surveys reveal that many Canadians believe immigration targets are exacerbating these problems. This has led to calls for stricter controls on programs such as the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. Critics argue that the program allows employers to rely on inexpensive labor without addressing systemic issues like low wages and poor working conditions. Some advocate for reducing the number of temporary workers admitted annually and prioritizing permanent immigration pathways instead. While such measures could address public concerns, they would also create significant challenges for industries that rely heavily on TFWs to meet their labor needs. Critics also point out the disparity between the high number of workers admitted under temporary programs and the limited support provided to integrate them into Canadian society. The lack of affordable housing and accessible public services in urban centers, where most TFWs settle, has fueled public frustration. Many argue that addressing systemic issues, such as infrastructure development and fair wage practices, would not only ease the strain but also foster greater public acceptance of TFWs and their contributions to the economy. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. Let's now dive deeper into how Trudeau's resignation could reshape the future for temporary foreign workers and why they may be at greater risk than ever before. Uncertainty in policy direction. Justin Trudeau's departure has created a policy void, leaving TFWs wondering what comes next. A new administration is likely to bring its own priorities, potentially shifting away from high immigration targets. Key changes that could affect TFWs include tightened LMIA requirements. Employers may face stricter conditions to justify hiring TFWs, making it harder to secure foreign labor. Reduced quotas. A cut in annual TFW admissions could force businesses to find alternative solutions, leading to potential labor shortages. Focus on domestic workforce development. Policies may shift toward training and incentivizing Canadian workers, reducing reliance on temporary foreign labor. Adding to this uncertainty is the possibility of prolonged delays in decision-making during the leadership transition. A lack of clarity around policy direction could leave employers hesitant to hire TFWs, fearing that new regulations may increase costs or restrict their ability to retain workers. This indecision would not only disrupt businesses but also leave TFWs in a state of anxiety, unsure about their ability to renew permits or secure stable employment. Permanent residency pathways under threat. One of the most significant developments under Trudeau's administration was the creation of pathways to permanent residency for TFWs. Programs like the Caregiver PR on Arrival initiative aim to provide stability for workers while addressing labor shortages. Similarly, rural pilot programs encourage TFWs to settle in underpopulated regions. However, with Trudeau's resignation, these programs may be deprioritized or discontinued. This would eliminate crucial pathways for TFWs to transition from temporary workers to permanent residents, further marginalizing a workforce already facing significant challenges. Economic ripple effects for employers. If Canada reduces its reliance on TFWs, employers in industries like agriculture and hospitality will feel the impact. Farmers, for example, have warned that without foreign labor, crops could go unharvested, leading to food supply disruptions and financial losses. Smaller businesses, particularly in rural areas, may struggle to attract domestic workers if policy changes force them to offer higher wages and additional benefits. While these measures could improve conditions for Canadian workers, they risk increasing costs for employers, potentially leading to closures or reduced operations. Moreover, the hospitality and caregiving sectors, which rely heavily on TFWs to provide consistent service and care, could face similar challenges. A reduction in TFWs could result in understaffed facilities, longer wait times for essential services, and diminished quality in customer-facing roles. For employers in these industries, the ability to maintain operations at current levels may depend on policies that balance stricter oversight with continued access to foreign labor. Potential reforms under new leadership. The specifics of policy changes remain uncertain, but several scenarios could unfold. Enhanced worker protections. Advocacy groups are pushing for reforms to make it easier for TFWs to change employers and to increase oversight of working conditions. Sector-specific quotas. Instead of reducing overall TFW admissions, policymakers may implement caps tailored to sectors like healthcare and agriculture. Increased employer scrutiny. Stricter regulations could include more inspections and higher penalties for non-compliance with labor laws. Another consideration is how new leadership might approach labor needs in rural areas, where industries like agriculture and food processing are most dependent on TFW's regional pilot programs, which currently attract workers to underpopulated areas, could be expanded or modified to prioritize long-term retention. These adjustments would align with calls to address labor shortages while spreading economic benefits more evenly across the country. While these reforms could improve conditions for TFWs, they might also deter employers from participating in the program, exacerbating labor shortages in key industries. Global competition for talent. Canada is not the only country competing for foreign workers. Nations like the United States, Australia, and those in Europe are also vying for skilled and temporary labor. If Canada's policies become less favorable, TFWs may seek opportunities elsewhere, further straining industries that depend on foreign labor. Adding to this challenge is the growing emphasis by other countries on creating seamless pathways to permanent residency and citizenship for foreign workers. Programs in Australia, for example, offer expedited routes for high-demand professions, while European countries are increasingly tailoring their immigration policies to attract skilled labor. If Canada fails to address the concerns of TFWs and streamline its systems, it risks losing its competitive edge, which could have long-term repercussions for industries reliant on foreign talent to stay operational. Finding a path to stability. To address these challenges, policymakers must find a balance between public concerns and economic needs. Solutions could include: 1. Balanced quotas. Implementing region-specific or sector-specific quotas to ensure industries have the labor they need without overwhelming urban centers. 2. Expanded permanent residency pathways. Creating more opportunities for TFWs to transition to permanent residency, providing stability and long-term contributions to Canada's economy. 3. Public education. Informing Canadians about the importance of TFWs to the economy to reduce resistance to the program. 4. Infrastructure investments. Expanding housing and public services to alleviate the pressures often associated with high immigration levels. As we've seen, Justin Trudeau's resignation has introduced significant uncertainty for temporary foreign workers and Canada's immigration system as a whole. The potential for stricter LMIA requirements, reduced TFW quotas, and fewer permanent residency pathways could reshape the lives of thousands of workers who are essential to Canada's economy. At the same time, public sentiment, political leadership, and economic realities will play pivotal roles in determining the future of these programs. Canada's labor market is at a crossroads, and finding the right balance between economic needs and sustainable immigration policies will be critical. For TFWs, the stakes couldn't be higher, as their futures depend on decisions that are yet to be made. If you found this video informative, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think Canada's immigration policies should evolve to address these challenges? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and share it with anyone interested in Canada's immigration system. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Canada Chronicles and turn on notifications so you'll never miss an update on important topics like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care and stay informed.